so many different prices that they still needed some additional money to go someplace else and buy another home. But many of the homes out here were beautiful that the people had to get out. It's just unreal that they would take such lovely homes. And of course, they do it by condemning them. And there was they didn't, that was just their way of getting them. Because there was certainly nothing wrong with the homes. Some of them were beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Hi, my name is Ray Wright, man of the house. I find this area, living out here, very comfortable and extremely tranquil. The only setback is the environmental impact that it has from previous dumping that's taken place.
One thing I noticed about out here is the airport, and it's very nearby. And when the airplanes come in for a landing, they come down too close to the house, and sometimes the house vibrates. And if it comes down too low, it feels like it's an earthquake, and it trembles, and sometimes things fall.
I moved on 83rd Street 4 years ago. It's a quiet and peaceful neighborhood. I enjoy the people I live around. They don't bother you, you don't bother them. And this is my daughter, Tedra.
Yes, I like it around here too. We have a lot of play area, and we have a convenient mall 5 blocks down the street, and we shop there. They have a supermarket. I mean, it's a lot of places. You don't have to go far, but if you work, out of the areas, then you need a car around here, that's for sure. You can't just walk everywhere, just to the plaza mainly.
You like it right here?
It's pretty nice. It's not the best, but
What don't you like about it?
a lot of burglaries, people breaking in other people's houses, a couple of rapes around here.
Do you know any of the old people that was living here before you?
No.
I was real excited about moving out into my first home. When I moved in, I hung drapes up at the living room window, and I came home from work and they were sitting in the floor. And I looked up and I saw the plaster hanging from the wall, where I felt as though the wall wasn't strong enough to hold these drapes. And I said, boy, the house must have really been cheaply built. And I was quite upset that the walls couldn't hold up drapes. So I noticed upstairs that around the ceiling of the windows, it was like poorly put together, and it was cracks and holes. And when the winter came in, I like to froze in this house. There's no insulation in the walls. You could feel the wind coming through the walls, not only the windows. And they tell you that they put these special windows in that's storm-proof and well insulated, but it's not true. And up in the attic, they lay down installation to keep, I guess that's one of the regulations, but from the A-frame of the roof, all this cold air just blows right in. So it's up to you if you want to stay warm out here to insulate your own house.
Everyone here is friendly. The neighbors get along together. At the time that I purchased this home, thank God that they saw fit to have persons who purchased the new homes out here to sign that they would sell the homes to anyone, regardless to race, creed, or color. We have no trouble with our neighbors here. They are friendly. White and black are living next door to each other. Often my neighbors come by and I give them vegetables from my garden. And we have a pack cooperation out here who work toward the improvements of the neighborhood.
I was in the front planting flowers, and I was digging holes in the yard to plant a bush and some trees out, and I found cans and tires, rocks, a lot of like garbage. I guess they used it for landfill. And I broke out in a rash, and I came in the house and I called a doctor, and I went to a skin specialist, And he said it was a rare disease and they didn't know too much about it and what caused it. And there was no cure for it or no medication. I would just have to wait over a period of time for it to go away. And it took about a year for it to disappear. And I really think it had something to do with me digging outside in the dirt. But I never to this day found out why.
What about the chemicals you were talking about in the ground? What's my chemicals?
Well, we have a neighborhood suit going we have a chemical dump that's around the corner.
Now, they'll tell you today that the reason why it's not developed down here is because the economy changed. But there's still people who want decent housing. There's still people. Corman, where's Corman today? What's he building today? He has all of this land under his or a lot of it under his financial directions because he was the major developer. And why isn't he building houses today? One reason is that they said that we're going to rebuild your neighborhood because it's below grade, it's a swampy area, and we got to do something about it. So they blew in river silt, which is not the best thing to blow in. And I watched them put piles in the ground where they would drive one pile into the ground and it would go down so deep that they would have to drive another pile right on top of that one before they hit bedrock down there somewhere. Today, and I've heard this before, I mean, all during the course of it, you always heard people who were trying to get redress because their houses were either filling up with swamp gas or they were filling up with, or they were cracking, the foundations were cracking because the ground is settling today. And the pilings aren't doing the job of holding the houses up, basically. But I watched them put in fields and fields and fields of pilings to put these houses on ground that people had built houses on before they filled it in, you know, before the turn of the century. So they come in and they do this for what purpose? There doesn't seem to be any logical purpose today because of the vast acreage that we have that is undeveloped today. No matter what they say, you know, there was bad planning somewhere along the line. As I say, the thing that really upsets me most, I think, is that the people were really abused down here.
The kitchen floor is made of cement. So when you walk on the floor, it's so cold that in the wintertime, if you don't have your heat on, it will crack. Your floor will crack right in half, which has happened, and plants have grown up through the floor from the cracking. But that's something we have to deal with out here.
You serious?
Jungle house.
Yeah. And the guy next door, he moved out, so there was no heat in his house. So all the pipes bust and water just oozed out all over the place. And from the floor being cement, it cracked, and the roots were like growing up out of the floor in his kitchen. And it was really weird. And,
Looked like tentacles.
and in here, like, you have the option to have a bathroom downstairs. If not, if you don't want to pay for that, then they'll just have like an empty room. But they have the facilities there if ever in the future you want the bathroom. So there's this big round pipe in the middle of the floor, and these big giant sewerettes come up through the pipes, and they be running all around in your house. It's horrible. And the guy next door, one got in his house, and he chopped up the couch. They had to put the couch out in the trash because one got in the living room, and they were in there trying to kill it with a hatchet. And that's from the way Corman laid the pipes in and never covered them or anything.
Yeah, because, you know, I looked in the house, and I saw these trees. It looked like little branches of trees growing up out of the floor. I said, look at this. And it was little leaves growing out, and it looked like it was grass on the floor. It looked like a backyard inside his living room.
This is what I should be filming. See, it's perfect.
Right.
Wow.
We didn't have that.
That's dramatic, you know?
Yeah, that's sad too.
That really happened for real?
Yeah.
I am standing on the first lot of the beginning of the new homes. As a matter of fact, my home was the first home that was built for the samples. There were 5 homes built for samples, and it was under the Eastwick